All right, we got this at a pretty good point, so let's go ahead and start on the cloth. So on here, everything looks pretty decent here, but what I'd like to do is first off generate a normal map so we can see how that's looking. So let's go ahead and turn off all of this. And I'm not sure if we want to leave these stains on there or not for the normal map. Probably not. So we'll try one with and without. So we'll just do one with this. So we'll just select all, Control-Shift-C for copy. And we'll go to the normal, and we'll just hit paste. And then we'll turn these back on, and then do the same thing. And we'll turn those back on and hide them. And we'll go ahead and adjust the levels to get the most out of it for the normal map. Same thing here. The thing is, it's going to capture all that, which we probably don't want, but we'll just check it out and see. So here, we'll try to do the blur again, but you see a lot of these details are really fine. So hopefully the blur doesn't get rid of those. Alright. Same thing here, Control F. Same thing here, Control F. And here. Alright, this did get kind of some interesting breakup, so it might not be so bad. So let's go ahead and sharpen these. Control F. And so set these to overlay. Take out the blue. And basically you have the opacity and the fill there. The fill pretty much just the same thing, except if you have any layer styles, it won't affect the layer style. Opacity will affect both. You could try that. And then after that, we'll try this one. Now let's make sure to take out the blue. Alright. So, go ahead and try this one first. So, cloth normal. And also, you need to give this thing a spec before I forget. So, we'll turn those off, select all, copy, Control-Shift copy, hit paste. Might be another thing where we're not going to want a lot of those grungy details. So we may want to go ahead and duplicate those and see what that looks like. So now, so we can see the backside better, we'll go ahead and Alt drag a clone out, and we'll just check it out over here so we can see both sides at the same time in the light. So we'll do something like that. And it looks pretty good. Some of the small details can even be increased. And I would like a stain right here, and spec may just be a little bit hot overall. Actually, I just remembered that we didn't plug up the spec. So let's go add it real quick. So we got the cloth spec. You can see it toned it down a lot, and that is a lot better. So now we can check out why there's a line right there and play around with some of the stains. And we could try the other normal map too while we're at it, even though I don't think we're going to want to use it, but we can see. Let's go back in here, and pretty blue as well, so let's go ahead and turn that down. You don't want to take over the color of the light unless it's oily or something like that. So here we can see that line, it didn't extend over. So one thing we could try is just extruding it out some, but kind of like the positioning of some of that. I'll go a little bit both ways. And hit enter to apply it. And also I wanted more of a stain. It was right here. So to do that we can just clone the section. So we'll clone the section over here and just paint it over here. It's not working quite like I like it, so we'll go ahead and duplicate this, and we'll drag some of it over here, and then just fill it with black. Put it over here a little bit. Alright. And we'll also try this normal map out. And we'll crank it up a little bit. We'll just leave it like that. Let's try this out. So we forgot to save out the diffuse, and the normal, you really can't even tell. So let's do one more time real quick. So go to the diffuse, and we'll click cloth diffuse. You can see that added a lot. One thing I was thinking about trying is where there's a black foil on here to maybe have more speck. So we can go back in here, go to our speck. Instead of having this darken, I'll go ahead and set it to color dodge, and then we'll invert it, hitting Control I. Instead of darkening, it's going to light. So hopefully that increases the speck. So let's see what that did. So it is kind of hard to tell, but you can see here, so we move a light around, you can see how it's a lot more glossy right there. It's kind of interesting, I think. Might be a little too much, but it's kind of neat. And one thing we could do is actually change the color of that speck so it would look even a little bit oily. So let's try that. So apply hue and saturation, colorize it, and we'll make it maybe a reddish. And go ahead and tone down the overall speck. See what that looks like. So now we move it around. You notice it has a little reddish tint to it, which is kind of neat. Looks a little oily. I think it adds a lot. Check it out over here. I kind of like it. Go ahead and put this light back. And it looks pretty good. It's a little over dark right here maybe, but it's not that big a deal. Go ahead and leave it like this for now. Maybe I'll tone some of that down just a little bit. It's hard to know. This is all about iteration, to quickly go in, change something, and to see what it adds. If it's even better, or sometimes it's even worse. But you may want also to set up actions for spec and normal if you're finding yourself iterating a lot on it. So it looks pretty good. We'll just leave it like that for now. And another thing we may could do is remove some of the normal on the black spots to make it look even more oily. So we could try that really quick. Basically, we just need our oil selection. So in order to get that, it looks like we may have missed, because there's two, we may have missed this one. So let's see if it's worth it to add it. So we'll invert it, set it to color dodge, and make it reddish. So let's clone those two, set them to normal, and let's merge them. And we'll put a solid black underneath. We'll merge that. We'll levels them. So we're just looking for basically a selection. We'll desaturate it, Control Shift U. And now we'll basically just use this for a mask. So we'll go ahead and normal maps in a details folder and make a mask for that folder. Select all, copy, go to that mask, hit paste, and you'll notice it pretty powerful. But basically we want to invert that mask to where it removes, Control I, that mask. And let's zoom in a little bit. And you can see how it's gone in those spots. It's a little harsh. So let's go and tone it down just a little bit. We'll bring this in like this. Now we're just bringing it back a little. So that's pretty much just masking the oily details out. So we'll save this. And let's check it out. So it's subtle, but kind of like it. It's hard to tell I even did anything. It looks pretty good. That's a little harsh as well. You may want to tone that down or give it a color or something to help break things up. So let's hurry up and see. So it's basically this. Add a hue and saturation. So that pretty much colors everything. We don't want to do that. So we'll just do it on here. Go ahead and merge these together. So no matter what we do to this, it's going to change the color of everything because it's in hard light. You just shift the color a little bit. That almost like inverts it. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's better. You can try it. Didn't really help, didn't really hurt. So we'll leave it like that for now. Before I move on to the next texture, I would like to add from the ground up some grunge, maybe even along some of these edges right here. So to do that, let's go back in Photoshop and we will open up a few more grunge textures. Let's try these. Alright, drag them into our scene, and we'll start with this one, and we're probably going to want to multiply these, and we need to use levels to get rid of the white spots. So maybe like this. Same thing with this one, and we might as well tone the saturation down just a little bit, kind of like the brown. Looks like dirt or something. Remember, Control U opens that. Alright. I'll move this into place over here. This would be nice to break that up. So with Control T, we'll flip it horizontally. And we will go ahead and warp it into place some. This. And we'd like to bring this up pretty far. So we could try something like that. And throw a mask on there really quick and mask out some of these areas. Now let's just check this real quick. And you can see how it looks pretty good. It's like it's been living in the dirt for a long time. You may want to add some here as well. Kind of ground it. A little bit here. And I like how it goes up. I may want to make it go up a little higher. And also maybe a little bit here. Kind of hide that edge. And in the front it would be nice to have some here. Especially down here. So let's go ahead and add a little bit more. Show this one. And we'll duplicate it to preserve it. Put it around here a little bit. Paint some mask. Get rid of it. Or we don't want it. Looks pretty good. Now we'll duplicate it again. And the same thing. Except we'll rotate it and put it up here a little bit. Like this. And this time we will just fill it with black. And paint in some white along these edges. It's hard to see where our line is, so we'll go ahead and just give a layer stroke real quick. So we can see where that starts and stops. And we want some right here as well. So go ahead and try to quickly get some right there. Same things, we'll just fill it with black and then paint a little bit. And we'll add some here. This can make your scene pretty heavy just by doing this, so eventually we will go ahead and apply the masks because these are pretty large res textures. So we'll go ahead and do that by applying, or just merge down a couple times because we're just using a little piece of it. And we'll do a little bit more. This time we will just go along the outside here. All right, duplicate it. Go ahead and put it around here. And one more. So now we'll just check it real quick. Make sure nothing's interfering. Go ahead and clean that up a little bit. And we'll just merge these together and set it back to multiply. Alright, so let's hide that and we will check it out. Now we'll see that the nice dirt at the bottom. This goes all the way up, maybe a little bit higher. That looks nice. Very nice. I like the little iridescent oil look in there. You could even take that a step further if you wanted to add a reflection, but I don't think we're going to be getting into the reflections right now. So, that looks pretty good. Now we'll move on to the next one.